This is the video for sequential circuit. This is a block diagram of combinational circuit. In this combinational circuit, these are all inputs and these are all outputs. Now, in combinational circuits, the outputs depends solely on the current inputs or the inputs we are giving at that point of time. Whereas this is the diagram for sequential circuit. In sequential circuit, we have got the set of inputs which are giving us outputs, but these outputs, some of the outputs can be fed back as another input. So outputs can be fed back as another input. So the output that we are getting not only depends upon the current input, but it also depends upon the previous output that was obtained. And this returning back of the output line as an input line is called feedback. So combinational circuits do not have any feedback line, but in sequential circuit we get feedback lines. Now in sequential circuit, mainly we are going to talk about flip-flops. We are going to talk about flip-flops. So we are going to discuss about SR flip-flop, D flip-flop, JK flip-flop, T flip-flop. Now these two are both diagrams of SR flip-flop. Both of these are diagrams of SR flip-flop. In this diagram, as you can see, all the gates that have been used are NAND gates, and these are all NOR gate. These two are NOR gate. So this is an SR flip-flop using NOR gate, and this is an SR flip-flop using NAND gate. Now, if we look at the diagram, S and R, these are the inputs to the flip-flop. Q dash and Q, these are the outputs of the flip-flop. And this is Q complement and this is Q. That means these two would always be complement of each other or reverse of each other. These are the feedback lines. These are the feedback lines, and this is the CLK. CLK, it stands for clock. This is the clock signal. Now what does the clock signal do? The clock signal activates or deactivates the flip-flop. The clock signal either activates the flip-flop or deactivates the flip-flop. So to keep the flip-flop active, we have to give the value of clock as 1 in NAND gate flip-flop as well, and in NOR gate flip-flop as well. We have to give the clock value as 1 to activate the flip-flop. So first we are going to discuss the working of this NOR gate flip-flop, and then we are going to discuss about the NAND gate flip-flop. Now, as we had already seen in the block diagram, that a flip-flop depends upon its previous output. The flip-flop depends upon its previous output. So when we are working on the working of the flip-flop, we have to assume some previous output. So let us assume that Q value is 1 and Q dash value is 0. This is an assumption. We have assumed this. That Q is 1, Q dash is 0. You can also assume the other way around. There won't be any difference in the working. When we are drawing the truth table, you will see that there won't be any difference in the drawing of the truth table if you take the other way round. Now, when we are dealing with NOR gate flip-flops, to work on NOR gate flip-flops, we are always going to take the high inputs. We are always going to consider the high inputs. Why? Because in case of NOR gate, if we see the NOR gate truth table, NOR gate truth table goes like this. Whenever any one of the input is high, whenever any one of the input is high, the output is always 0. Whenever any one of the input is high, the output is always 0. So when we are working on NOR gate flip-flops, we are always going to consider the high inputs first. So let's see how it is done. Let's give S value as 0, R value as 0. So we give S value as 0, R value as 0. Clock value is 1. These two are AND gates. So output of this AND gate 1 would be 0. Output of AND gate 2 would also be 0. Right? Why? Because we know 0.1 is equals to 0. Anything ANDed with 0 always gives you a 0. So AND gate number 1 and AND gate number 2 both are going to give you an output of 0. Right? Now, as I just told you that when we are dealing with NOR gates, we are going to consider the high inputs first. If we look at our inputs, both the inputs are low, right? None of them are high. So now we are going to turn to the feedback lines. When the current inputs are not giving me any high input values, we are going to turn to the feedback lines. Now let us see, according to our assumption, Q value is 1 and Q dash value is 0. So this Q, which is 1, is fed back into NOR gate number 3. This Q, whose value is 1, assumed value is 1, is fed back into the NOR gate number 3. So NOR gate number 3 has an input 1, correct? And NOR gate number 4 has the feedback input as 0, correct? So which of the NOR gates have a high input? NOR gate number 3. So therefore we are going to consider NOR gate number 3 first. So what would be the output? According to the truth table of NOR gate, whenever one of the input is high, the output is always low. So we are going to get a 0 as our output. So you see, this 0 was our previous output. This was the previous output. And this 0 is the current output that we just got. Now this current output is fed back into NOR gate number 4. So this current output is fed back into NOR gate number 4 and we get the value as 1. Why? Because when in a NOR gate both the inputs are 0, you always get a 1. So what is happening to the current outputs of our flip-flops? The current output is Q value 1 and Q dash value 0. Clear? Now, we are going to give S value as 0, R value as 1. Our next working. S value as 0, R value as 1. Now, when S value is 0 and R value is 1, since clock is always 1 to keep the flip-flop activated, AND gate number 1 is going to give us an output of 0 and AND gate number 2 is going to give us an output of 1. Correct? Now, according to NOR gate, as I told you, always take the high inputs. So over here, out of these two, this NOR gate number 4 is getting a high input, right? So we are going to consider this NOR gate number 4 first. So what would be the output of NOR gate number 4? Whenever any one of the input is high, the output is always 0. So NOR gate number 4 is going to give us an output of 0. This 0, which is the current output, is going to fed into NOR gate number 3. So Q dash will become 1 because NOR gate number 3 has got both the inputs as 0. So therefore Q dash becomes 1 and Q becomes 0. Now we will reverse the input. S value as 1, S dash value as 0. So S value as 1 and R value as 0. In this case, AND gate number 1 is going to give us an output 1 and AND gate number 2 is going to give us an output 0. NOR gate flip-flops high inputs first. So we are going to consider NOR gate number 3. Whenever input is high, one of the input is high, output is always low. So Q dash will become 0. This is the current output of Q dash. This 0 fed into NOR gate number 4, the output of Q would be 1. So Q becomes 1 and Q dash becomes 0. Now, again, I'm going to show you, we are going to repeat some of the inputs. Like, again, I'm going to give S value as 0, R value as 1. Again, I'm going to work on that input set. So again, if we are working on the input set, S value as 0, R value as 1, let's do this very quickly. AND gate number 1 gives an output of 0, AND gate number 2 gives an output of 1, NOR gate number 4 gets a high input, so output would be 0. This 0 when fed back into NOR gate number 3 gives an output of 1 as Q dash. So again we find that Q becomes 0 and Q dash becomes 1. Another set of input we are going to repeat now, that is 0, 0. 0, 0. S value 0, R value 0. So let's see what happens. When S value is 0 and R value is 0, again AND gate number 1 and 2 both gives us outputs as 0, 0. Since both the outputs of these two gates are low, so NOR gate, all the inputs to the NOR gate, all the inputs are low. So now we have to turn to the feedback lines. Since the input lines are all low, we have to turn to the feedback lines. In this case, we find that according to the this output that we already had previously, Q dash is 1 and Q is 0. So we have to consider high inputs first. So this Q dash, this 1 of Q dash is fed back into this NOR gate number 4. So NOR gate number 4 gives you an output of 0, which is the current output. And this current output when fed into NOR gate number 3 gives you an output of 1. So Q remains 0 and Q dash remains 1. Last set of repeated input, we will give again S as 1, R as 0. In this case, again NAND gate number 1 gives an output of 1, NAND gate number 2 gives an output of 0. This 1 fed into NOR gate number 3, the output of NOR gate number 3 becomes 0. This 0 when fed back into NOR gate number 4, output of NOR gate number 4 becomes 1. So Q becomes 1 and Q dash becomes 0. Right? Now, if both the inputs are 1, 1, S value is also 1, R value is also 1. When S and R value both are 1, AND gate number 1 and AND gate number 2 both are going to give us outputs of 1. Correct? So now, NOR gate number 3 and 4 both has got high inputs. NOR gate number 3 and NOR gate number 4 both has got high inputs. So therefore, according to the truth table of NOR gate, both of these NOR gates are going to give me an output of 0, 0. Both of these NOR gates are going to give me an output of 0, 0. But at the very beginning, I told you that Q and Q dash, these are complements of each other. So Q and Q dash can never be equal. So having both Q and Q dash as 0, 0 is not possible. It is contrary to the meaning of the output lines. So therefore, this particular input of 1, 1 is called ambiguous in SR flip-flop. In SR flip-flop, this particular state is called ambiguous because this gives rise to an inconsistent output. Now, this is the working of SR flip-flop. We are going to create the truth table. We are going to create the truth table. S, R, Q, Q dash. Now, if you look at the 0, 0 entry in this working table, you see whenever we have given 0, 0 input, this 0, 0 input is over here and 0, 0 input is over here. If you check the output is always, the output that we have got is always equal to the previous output. Over here, the previous output was 1 and 0 that we had assumed, and we had got back 1, 0 after giving an input of 0, 0. Over here, the output was 0, 1, and on giving 0, 0, we got back 0, 1. So whenever we are giving 0, 0 as input, we are getting previous output. 0, 1. S value 0, R value 1. Over here, R value is 1. Over here, R value is 1. Whenever we are giving S value as 0 and R value as 1, if we check the outputs, in both the cases, Q value is 0, Q dash value is 1. Q value is 0, Q dash value is 1. And whenever in a flip-flop Q value is 0, this is called the reset state of flip-flop. Whenever Q value is 0, it is called reset state of flip-flop. So, S0 R1 gives you the reset state of the flip-flop. S1 R0. This gives you the set state. Whenever S value is 1, we find that the Q value is also 1 in both the cases. And when Q value is 1, this is the set state of a flip-flop. Whenever Q value is 1, that is the set state of the flip-flop. So 1, 0 gives you the set state of the flip-flop. 1, 1, as we have already discussed, is the ambiguous state. So this is the working of a NOR gate SR flip-flop. Now, I told you that whenever we have to activate the flip-flop, the clock value has to be 1. So that means if the clock value is 0, it will deactivate the flip-flop. How that is done, let's see. The clock value is 0, right? Now we have S, R, Q, Q dash. Let us assume Q value as 1, Q dash value as 0. That is our assumption. We are giving 0, 0 as S and R. So if we give S value as 0, R value as 0, and gate number 1 and 2, they are going to give us outputs as 0, 0. Right? Now, we have to look into the feedback lines. This 1 is fed back over here. NOR gate number 3 is going to give us an output of 0. This 0 when fed back into NOR gate number 4 is going to give us an output of 1. So it remains in its previous state. Correct? Now, we are giving S value as 0, R value as 1. The reset input. But since clock is 0, output of AND gate number 1 also remains 0 and gate number 2 also remains 0 because clock value is 0. Right? So now, again what happens, we have to look into the feedback lines. Which feedback line is 1? This Q feedback line is 1. This is getting fed back into NOR gate number 3. So NOR gate number 3 is giving you a value of 0. This 0 when fed back into NOR gate number 4 is giving you a value of 1. So if clock is 0 and we are giving the input 0, 1, the output is remaining as 1, 0. We are giving S as 1, R as 0. Even if we give S as 1, R as 0, but still, as we can see, AND gate number 1 and 2 is giving an output of 0, 0 and remaining of the working remains the same. So again we get back 1, 0. So therefore, we can understand that the output of the flip-flop is not changing. It is remaining the same. The output is not changing. So as a result, even if we change the input, it is not having any effect on the output of the flip-flop. So as a result, the flip-flop has got deactivated when we have made clock value as 0. Now this is the NAND gate SR flip-flop. Since we have already understood the concept of NOR gate SR flip-flop, we are going to very quickly do the NAND gate SR flip-flop. There are few differences in NAND gate SR flip-flop. You can see the position of Q. Previously, in NOR gate flip-flop, the Q output was with the R input line, but over here the Q output line is along with the S. Second difference is, in case of NAND gate, when we are working, we are going to take low inputs first. In case of NOR gate, we were taking high inputs. In case of NAND gate, we are going to take the low inputs first. Why? The reason is, this is the NAND gate truth table, and the truth table goes like this. Whenever one input line is low, the output is always high. Whenever one input line is low, the output is always high. Now, clock is 1 for activation purpose. If we give 0, 0, S value 0, R value 0, we are assuming Q as 1, Q dash as 0. So S0, R0, clock is 1. So output of NAND gate number 1 and NAND gate number 2 both will be 1, 1. We are going to consider low inputs first. None of the inputs are low over here, so we are going to turn to the feedback lines. Feedback lines, Q dash is 0. So 0 is going to fed back into NAND gate number 3. This NAND gate number 3 is going to give us an output of 1. And this one, when fed back into NAND gate number 4, is going to give us an output of 0. So Q is 1, Q dash is 0. So you can see, let's construct the truth table along way. Just like the previous SR flip-flop using NOR gate, whenever S and R value is 0, 0, we are getting the previous state. S0, R1. If we have S0 and R value as 1, then and NAND gate number 1 is going to give us an output of 1, and NAND gate number 2, when both the inputs are high, the output is 0, so NAND gate number 2 is going to give us an output of 0. We are going to take the low inputs first. So we are going to take NAND gate number 4, because NAND gate number 4 has got this 0 input line. So since NAND gate number 4 has the input 0, the output would be 1. Output would be 1. And this 1, when fed back into NAND gate number 3, will give us an output of 0. So Q becomes 0, Q dash becomes 1. So as we know, this gives us the reset state. S1 R0. When S is 1 and R is 0, then again NAND gate number 1 is going to give us an output 0. NAND gate number 2 is going to give us an output of 1 according to the truth table. We will consider NAND gate number 3 because we are going to take low inputs first. So NAND gate number 3 is going to give us a high output. This high output, when fed back into NAND gate number 4, is going to give us output of 0 for Q dash. So Q becomes 1, Q dash becomes 0. That gives us the set state, just like the previous case. 1, 1. If we take both the values 1, then both NAND gate number 1 and 2 is going to give us an output of 0. As a result, both NAND gate number 3 and 4, both NAND gate number 3 and 4 is going to get the input low. Both 3 and 4 are getting low inputs. As a result, both Q and Q dash should be high. Both Q and Q dash should be high again, which is contrary to the concept of Q dash being complement of Q. So again, this is the ambiguous state. So S1 R1 is ambiguous state. Clear? So therefore, the truth table remains the same, though the diagrams are different, made up of two different types of gates. Coming to the concept of clock. As we had discussed, to activate the flip-flop, the clock value is 1. When clock value is 0, it is inactivated. How? Let us see that. Clock value is 0. We have given clock value as 0. S value 0, R value 0. Now, let us assume Q is 1, Q dash is 0. Let us assume that. So, NAND gate number 1 and NAND gate number 2 both are going to give us 1, 1 as output according to the truth table of NAND gate. Both are going to give us outputs 1, 1. Now, we have to take the low inputs first. So Q dash is fed back into NAND gate number 3. So NAND gate number 3 would give us an output of 1. This 1, when fed back into NAND gate number 4, will give us an output of 0. So Q is 1 and Q dash is 0. So therefore, the state does not change. Let us change the state to S0 R1. So S is 0, R is 1. Now since clock value is 0, NAND gate number 1 and 2 both again are going to give us outputs of 1, and again we have to depend on the feedback line. Q dash is going to give us a 0 and Q value will be 1. Q1 fed back into NAND gate number 4 will give us a 0. So again the scenario does not change. So 0, 1 will also give us 1, 0. S1 R0. If S is 1, R is 0 but clock is 0, again the scenario won't change. NAND gate number 1, NAND gate number 2, both would be 1, 1 and rest will follow. So therefore, whenever clock value is 0, the flip-flop remains in its static state, in its previous state. Though the inputs are changing, there is no effect on the output. So that is how the flip-flop is inactivated. So this is all about SR flip-flop. I will the characteristics table and the excitation table, these two are given in notes, and this is the video of the working of the SR flip-flop. After SR flip-flop, we come to D flip-flop. Now, this SR flip-flop is also called set reset flip-flop. SR flip-flop is also called set reset flip-flop. D flip-flop, this D stands for data. The D flip-flop, the D stands for data. Now, to get or to draw a D flip-flop, this is the SR flip-flop that we have done. We will take one signal from this S, pass it through a NOT gate, and then feed it back into this NAND gate number 2. So therefore, this double input flip-flop, that was SR flip-flop, is converted into a single input flip-flop, and we will consider this as D. Now, let us very quickly see how the truth table works. In case of SR flip-flop, we had 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, where this was ambiguous state 1, 1, 0, 0 was previous state, 0, 1 was reset, and 1, 0 was set. In case of D flip-flop, this 0, 0 state is not possible, because in case of D flip-flop, the line has been knotted and it has been put as second input. So the 0, 0 input is not possible. So we come to S is equals to 0, R is equals to 1. So if over here we give an input 0, this will pass through a NOT gate and it will become a 1. So this particular input is possible. So when D value is 0, it gives us the reset state of the flip-flop. What do we mean by reset state? Reset state means Q value 0, Q dash value 1. S1 R0. Let's see, if we give 1 over here, that passes through a NOT gate and we get a 0 over here. So this particular state is also possible in D flip-flop. So when D value is 1, we get the set state, because the diagram is similar to the SR flip-flop diagram. So we get the set state. So that means what? Q as 1, Q dash as 0. Correct? 1, 1. Now this state is also not possible, because one input has been knotted and sent through the other one. So 1, 1 is also not possible. So this is the truth table of D flip-flop. Now, if we look at the truth table of D flip-flop, whatever input we are giving, the same thing comes back as the output. Whatever input we give, Q gives us the same output. When D 0, Q is 0. When D is 1, Q is 1. So therefore, whatever input we give, we get back the same input. And that is why it is said that it is a data flip-flop, where 1 bit of data per D flip-flop, each D flip-flop stores 1 bit of data. Whatever data you will store, the same data will be given to you as the output. That is why it is called data flip-flop, or it is called a latch. It is called a latch. Now we are going to discuss about JK flip-flop. This is the diagram of SR flip-flop that we have already learned. To convert a SR flip-flop into a JK flip-flop, we take this Q dash and we feed it into the same input 8 as that of the S. We take a signal from Q and feed it into the same input gate as that of R. So JK flip-flop is a flip-flop which has got two sets of feedback lines. One is this set of feedback line over here, another set is over here. So there are two sets of feedback lines in case of JK flip-flop, unlike the SR flip-flop. Now let's see the working. This S signal over here, now we will be calling it as J, and this R we will be calling it as K. Now, so that we can make the comparison, I will keep this S and R so that it becomes easier for you to understand the working. SR. So we are considering Q as 1, Q dash as 0. We are assuming the previous output. We have J and K, and as I have already told you, J is an equivalence of S and R is equivalence of K. So I will write down S and R over here so that I can compare the working of SR flip-flop with JK flip-flop. Now we are giving J as 0, K as 0. J as 0, K as 0. Q dash is 0, Q is 1. Clock is always 1 to keep it in the active state. So Q1 is fed back over here. Q dash 0 is fed back in AND gate number 1. So AND gate number 1 has the output 1.0.0, that is 0. AND gate number 2 has the output 1.0.1, that is 0. So both of the AND gate number 1 and 2 gives you the output 0. Since these are AND gates, since these are NOR gates, we are going to take high inputs first. None of the input lines going into NOR gate number 3 and 4 are high. So we are going to turn to the feedback lines. Q is 1. This Q signal is fed back into NOR gate number 3. So we are going to take NOR gate number 3 first. So what output NOR gate number 3 is going to give us? It is going to give us an output of 0. Now this 0, which is the current output, gets fed back into NOR gate number 4, and NOR gate number 4 gives us an output of 1. So Q1, Q dash 0. So if you check, we are in our previous state only, just like the SR flip-flop. In SR flip-flop also, 0, 0 entry was previous state. So we are remaining in our previous state in J equal to 0, K is equals to 0. J is equals to 0, K as 1. Now over here, J0, K1, this Q value is 1, so Q value is getting fed in over here. Q dash value is 0, that is getting fed in over here in AND gate number 1. So AND gate number 1 is giving me the output 1.0.0, that is 0. AND gate number 2 is giving me the output 1.1.1, that is 1. Right? So now we will consider NOR gate number 4 first, because that has gotten high input. So output of NOR gate number 4 would be 0. This is the current output. This 0 would be fed over here, and NOR gate number 3 will give us an output of 1. So Q becomes 0, Q dash becomes 1. We get the reset state just like the SR flip-flop. Next, J as 1, K as 0. In this scenario, AND gate number 1 gives us an output. This Q dash 1 is fed back over here. So we get 1.1.1, that is 1. This Q fed back over here. So AND gate number 2 gives us 1.0.0, that is 0. right? Now we will consider NOR gate 3 first because that has got a high input. NOR gate number 3 will give us an output of 0, that would be its current output. This current output when fed back into NOR gate number 4 will give us an output of 1. So Q becomes 1, Q dash becomes 0, that is our set state, just again like SR flip-flop. Now the last state, that is 1, 1. So let's continue from here. We have J as 1, K as 1. Now this Q dash currently is 0, Q currently is 1 over here, Q1, Q dash 0. So this 1 of Q has been fed back over here and this 0 of Q dash has been fed back over here. So this is our current scenario. AND gate number 1. 1.1.0 gives us a 0. AND gate number 2, 1.1.1 gives us a 1. We will consider NOR gate 4 first. NOR gate 4 will give us an output of 0. This will be our current output. This 0 fed back into NOR gate number 3 will give us an output of 1. So Q dash becomes 1, Q becomes 0. Again, we are giving 1, 1. 1, 1. At present, Q dash value is 1. Q dash value is 1. So this 1 has got fed in into AND gate number 1. And current Q value is 0. So this 0 has got fed back over here in AND gate number 2. So AND gate number 1 is 1.1.1, that is 1. AND gate number 2 is giving us 1.1.0, that is 0. We will consider NOR gate 3 first. So NOR gate 3 will give us an output of 0. Correct? This 0 when fed back into NOR gate number 4 will give us an output of 1. So Q becomes 1, Q dash becomes 0. Again we give 1, 1. Again we give 1, 1. At present Q dash is 0, so 0 is getting fed in over here. Q is 1, so 1 is getting fed in over here. Right? So 2, AND gate number 2 is giving us an output of 1. AND gate number 1 is giving us an output of 0. We will consider NOR gate number 4, which will give us an output of 0. This 0 when fed back over here will give us an output of 1. So Q dash becomes 1, Q becomes 0. So if you look at the working, over here we have given 1, 1 as input. We have got Q0, Q1, Q dash 1. 1, 1 as input, Q as 1, Q dash as 0. 1, 1 as input, Q as 0, Q dash as 1. So what is basically happening, if we analyze this, we are getting always over here when we gave 1, 1, this 1 became a 0. Over here when we gave 1, 1, this 0 became a 1. Over here when we gave 1, 1, this 1 became a 0. So whenever we are giving 1, 1 as input, we are getting the complement of the previous state as our answer. So in case of SR flip-flop, if you remember, SR flip-flop, we had ambiguous state when S was 1, R as 1. In JK flip-flop, this ambiguous state has been changed. We have worked on that ambiguous state of SR flip-flop in the JK flip-flop, and JK flip-flop has overcome that ambiguous state of SR flip-flop. So now, how does the truth table stand? In JK flip-flop, J0, K0 gives you the previous state, just like SR flip-flop. J0, K1 gives you the reset state, again like SR flip-flop. J1, K0 gives you the set state. Similar to SR flip-flop, 1, 1 is complement of the previous state. This was ambiguous state of SR flip-flop, but in JK flip-flop it has become complement of the previous state, and this state in JK flip-flop is called toggle. It is called the toggle state. And what do you mean by toggle state? A state where you get the complement of the previous state, right? This is the NAND gate diagram of JK flip-flop. The truth table remains exactly the same. The diagram contains 4 NAND gates. Position of the Q and Q dash is reversed than in the NOR gate diagram. The feedback line of Q dash is getting fed into the NAND gate having the input of J. Q is getting fed back into the NAND gate containing K as the input line. So this is the diagram of JK flip-flop using NAND gate, where the truth table remains absolutely the same as the previous one. Now, after JK flip-flop, we come to the T flip-flop. Now, this term T stands for toggle. The term T stands for toggle. So, we are going to do a toggle flip-flop. Now, how do we get a toggle flip-flop? It is very, very easy. We take the J input of the JK flip-flop and we short it with the K. So as a result, the double input JK is converted to a single input T. Now, if JK flip-flop goes like this, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, this is the previous state, this is the reset state, this is the set state, and this is the toggle state, then if we consider T flip-flop, then in T flip-flop, this state, when we are giving J as 0, K is also becoming 0. If we give a 0 over here, J and K both are becoming 0. So this state is possible in T flip-flop. So when T flip-flop is 0, according to the truth table of JK flip-flop, it will remain in its previous state, because both J and K values would be 0 and it would be giving us the previous state, right? And 0, 1 and 1, 0, these two states are not possible because J and K input lines are shorted. Next, 1, 1. This is possible. J value if given 1, K value will also be 1. So this is possible. So therefore, when T value is 1, we get the toggle state. And these two states are not present. So when J and K, these two inputs are shorted, we get the T flip-flop, right? And in the truth table, we find when T is 0, we get the previous state, and 1 means the toggle state.